Okay, I think Tanmay, we can get started now.
Yeah, sure.
So thanks everyone for joining. We have about 100 people today who have tuned into the webinar. Um, so today's webinar is going to be about a major new update that we have launched in recent times. We've added a lot of new features in this particular update, and all of these features are different in terms of how they add value, but collectively they make up what we call MProfit Prime, which is designed to really elevate wealth and portfolio reporting in MProfit. It is a major update that has been we've been working on for quite some time now. Many of you will resonate some of the features that we've added today, and I think it will definitely help you understand how MProfit can elevate reporting of various kinds and user defined customizations of different kinds in the platform for yourself. Um, this update is available in specific MProfit plans. It's not available in all plans, just to let everybody know here. This is MProfit Prime, and it is available in our Family Office Prime and Wealth Platinum Prime plans. We can go into more detail about what these plans are. Many of you already are on these plans, so you can just see that these features will already be available to you. And without further ado, we'll get started with what the session today is going to be about. So thanks everyone for joining, and we'll just get started right away. So what is MProfit Prime? Firstly, so collectively, MProfit Prime is a selection of different input and output features that are meant to make portfolio reporting more customizable, more analytical, and more detailed at an overall consolidated level in your MProfit account. Thus far you must have seen that when you are looking at the reports or analytics section in MProfit, you are seeing your reporting at a group level or at an individual portfolio level, or segregated into holdings, performance, and other insights. The goal and the objective of why we've launched MProfit Prime is to ensure that at a more macro level, you can see overall portfolio performance segregated into different types of categories, subcategories, entities, and time periods, so that you can slice and dice your data better, and you can actually understand how your portfolios are performing relative to different benchmark indices, relative to one another, across different risk profiles of asset classes, so on and so forth. And today's session will actually go into detail of each of the features that we have added, so that you can really make the most of each and every minute feature that collectively constitutes MProfit Prime. These features are designed for savvy investors, family offices, wealth managers, who are looking to be extremely serious and analytical about their portfolio reporting. And I want to say thank you to many of you who are here today, because many of these features that we have added is the culmination of a lot of user feedback that we have received over the last couple of years, right, Tanmay?
Correct.
Where a lot of clients have helped us understand how exactly they would like to view their data and reporting in MProfit. So ultimately, this is a direct response to some of the feature requests that have come to us over the last few years. And I'm sure that when we show these features to you today, you're going to be resonating with a lot of the updates that we have added. So, now we'll start with actually talking about and deep diving into the features. So, Tanmay, I think we can share our screen now.
Sure.
Yeah. So before we get started, I wanted to explain that there are two types of Prime features. One is more input driven, where you can actually create user defined customizations for various things in the platform now. These are new types of user customization options that we have added. And the other is the output side of things, the actual reporting, the new reports that we've added. Many of you must have seen that under the report section, there is a new category called Prime. So that second section is actually the Prime reporting, which we will again cover in a lot of detail today. But first, we will start with the building blocks of the Prime reports, because the prime reports are extremely useful when you actually leverage the building blocks or the input driven features the right way. And the input driven customization options that we provided you, they actually will allow you to make the most of the prime reports and see the prime reports in a certain way that you actually can leverage and make the most of. So you know we'll start with the building block features, which are the input driven features, and there are four key features that we have added in recent times that we would like to cover today. Starting with number one, which is a new type of portfolio grouping called entity creation. So mostly all of you are familiar with the concept of portfolios and groups in MProfit, but we've added a new type of portfolio grouping called entity creation. And what entity creation does is it actually allows you to create a unique group of portfolios that is mutually exclusive from all the other groups, meaning that you can take all the portfolios that you have in MProfit and assign each portfolio uniquely to a single entity. Now, what this does is, for example, if I have, let's say, three individual pan-wise portfolios, and I want to create a joint entity for those three pan-wise portfolios, the entity feature allows you to do that. And that will create a unique entity that is differentiated from all the other, portfolios that are not part of that entity. And what the entity feature really allows you to do is when you're looking at your overall prime reports, you can create entity level splits within the prime report so that you can slice and dice your data better. For example, if there are three family members, A Mehta, B Mehta, and C Mehta, and each of them has three individual portfolios. So A Mehta can have a brokerage portfolio, it can have a PMS portfolio, and it can have another portfolio. Then you can create an A Mehta entity, which creates a group of just the A Mehta portfolios. And similarly, you can do the same for B Mehta and C Mehta as well. And when you see the overall report for the entire family, you can actually see your reporting at an entity level, which is A Mehta, B Mehta, and C Mehta entity. And I think Tanmay can now quickly show you how this feature works.
Yeah. So as Atik also mentioned, if you create multiple portfolios, now there can be different use cases. For example, we always recommend to create different PMS portfolios so that you can also manage the underlying investments. So let's say if I take an example of one entity, it's a dummy portfolio basically, Ajay Mehta. Now, if Ajay Mehta is investing in has direct investments, also having different PMSs. So we always recommend to create different portfolios to manage the data. For example, in this case, I have created Ajay Mehta direct portfolio, okay, where all the direct investments have added. Similarly, Ajay Mehta is also investing in PMSs. Let's say two different PMS, Ambit PMS and Axis PMS. So for one individual entity, one PAN, we have created three different portfolios here. Okay. Now, if you want to look at a consolidated view, here the entity will help you. So to create the entity, you can simply click on this plus sign, and there is an option now, other than portfolio and group, now there is a new option added called add entity. So you can click on add entity option, give the entity name. It will be mainly a entity name or a member's name here. You can add short name and full name both. Full name will appear on all the reports. Once this is done, you can go to individual portfolios and do the tagging. For example, I can right click on Ajay Mehta's direct portfolio, go to edit portfolio option, and simply select Ajay Mehta as an entity. Now, in my case, I have already linked the entity to all these portfolios. So this is how you can link it simply. I can select it, and then from the drop down, I can select Ajay Mehta's entity. Similarly, I have tagged the entity to two different PMS portfolios. Ajay Mehta has Ambit PMS portfolio also and Axis PMS portfolio also. So now if you want to look at the consolidated view on an entity level or a PAN level, this is how it will look like. So now this is Ajay Mehta's entity. We have also given a shortcut icon, which is slightly different than the group and the entity. You can see a slight different icon here. This is to identify this is entity. And for example, this is a group. Okay. So now Ajay Mehta's entity will include everything under this particular view. So it will have direct investments also, PMSs also, and if there are multiple other portfolios, let's say if you create broker-wise portfolios, it can have broker-wise details also. So it will help you to look at the consolidated view as well as individual drill down views. Yeah, Tik, you want to add anything here?
Right. So thanks, Tanmay. So basically,
Yeah.
to add to what Tanmay is saying, the entity feature will allow you to I mean, the reason why the entity feature is more useful than a simple group feature as well is that it actually allows you to create a new type of structure where, for each particular individual in the family, you can create their own entity. If you have maybe, a separate company or an LLP also whose investments you're managing within the same family, you can create all the portfolio, you can link all the portfolios that are specific to that specific LLP company or individual into their own entity, and this creates a mutually exclusive grouping, which ensures that that particular entity's portfolios will not be shared by any other entity. And that is the major difference between a regular group and an entity. So you can maintain your groups as is, as you're currently doing. There is no problem with that. But entity allows you to create a new type of subdivision within your portfolio that can then further be drilled down into the family at the family level. And that is the power of using an entity. We highly recommend that you all start using this feature, especially if you have multiple portfolios within a same family and you don't necessarily always want to drill down and see the individual portfolio. Once you create the entities, you will be able to simply go into that particular entity, like we have here, Neeraj Mehta, Rahul Mehta, Ajay Mehta, and you'll be able to actually just see the investments for that particular entity at a consolidated entity level. Hope this is clear to everybody. And if there are any questions here, we will be happy to answer the questions in the Q&A session that is going to open up after. And our colleagues are also on this session answering some of the questions live, in the chat if anyone has specific questions about the feature. But we request all of you to please, if possible, save your questions for the end of the webinar so that we can answer them in a more structured manner. So that is the number one feature that we've added, entity creation, something which most of you probably didn't know about before, but hopefully this will be useful to you. Moving on, the next feature we would like to talk about is not only unique to MProfit Prime customers. It is a new feature we've added to actually allow you to view PMSs as a separate asset class within groups, entities, and at the overall family level. This feature actually is a simple preference change which you can make at an overall account level, where you can simply change how you want to view PMSs within a group or an entity. And the benefit of this is that currently, if you're using MProfit and you're looking at your group portfolio, many of you probably know that the underlying stocks within a PMS will be grouped together with the direct stocks in the group. So Tanmay, if we can just go to any entity right now, and if you open stocks and ETFs here, currently, sorry.
I just,
Tanmay,
yeah. So as Atik mentioned, we have enabled this option where by default, if you have created a separate PMS portfolio and you have linked to any of the entity or any of the group, we actually display all the underlines of the PMS as a part of the other assets. For example, PMS scheme can have stocks, mutual fund, maybe other assets. If you by default simply link that PMS portfolio to any group or any entity, all the underlying assets will be displayed along with the direct investments like this. So this is the default option where every single stock or mutual fund asset class will show everything, including the PMS. So for example, HDFC Bank, you can see HDFC Bank is available as a part of the direct portfolio also and as a part of the PMS portfolio also. It means that all the underlyings are getting mixed with stocks and mutual funds. Here we have actually enabled a new option where if you don't want to see underlyings along with the other assets, other direct investments, you can simply make a small change in the preferences. So you can go to preferences option. There is a new customization option added called PMS within groups. How you want to treat it, whether you want to see it as a underlyings or if you want to see it as a scheme or as a line item, meaning that a single PMS scheme will be displayed as a separate line item. So if I currently by default, it's underlyings only. If you have not used this option, by default, it's underlying. But you can easily go to any group or any entity, go to preferences and select this as a line item. If I select this and click on apply, obviously the group or entity will be refreshed. And then if you look at the overall asset, you will see a new asset class called PMS. And under PMS, you will see PMS as a line item. So if you want to really see PMS scheme-wise information, this is the right way I would recommend. to basically change the view from preferences, and you can look at the PMS as a scheme wise details. Okay. A small difference here is if you look at the underlying data, cash on hand is not included in the group view. Okay. So if you want to actually look at the PMS data along with other investments, including the PMS cash on hand information, this is the right way to do it. You can simply go to preferences, select PMS as a line item, and you will see PMS as a separate asset class added. And automatically, whichever PMS portfolios you have linked to this entity or a group will be displayed as a line item. And obviously, all other details are similar. You will see amount invested, today's gain, unrealized gain, valuation. You can see the returns as well for different PMS schemes. So this is the easier way or nicer way to look at the overall entity level information. Of course, if you want to look at the detailed view, you can anytime click on any specific PMS portfolio, and that will redirect to the specific PMS portfolio, individual portfolio. Okay, so I've clicked on this Ambit PMS, so it has redirected me to this individual PMS portfolio where you see all the underlyings and all the cash flow details as well. Okay, so this is regards to the classic view change we have made on the preferences side, where you can, as I mentioned again, just to repeat, you can go to entity or you can go to any group, go to preferences, and from PMS within groups, you can make it as a line item. Instead of underlines, you can select line item. On the analytics side also, these settings are slightly different, meaning that this particular preferences setting is for this classic view or operational view. If you want to have the similar effect on the analytics module as well, you can simply go to analytics tab. Okay, analytics can be accessed by clicking on this top button beside the dashboard or import, which will redirect you to the new tab. From here, you can go to portfolio section from the left hand side and then click on preferences. Here you will find the treatment, how you want to treat it. For example, show PMS as a line item. In my case, I have enabled it. In your case, if it's disabled, you can simply enable it. Once you enable it, in the holding tab as well as the performance tab, you will see PMS schemes as a line item. So automatically you will see holding change, you will see performance change as well. Even if you are enabling this option, you can still see individual PMS portfolios on a detailed manner, meaning that I can still go to individual PMS portfolio from here. I can select any PMS portfolio and I can still get the drill down views. I can still see the underlyings, track their performances separately. This change is mainly for the entity level or the group level, where the treatment will change. Instead of showing underlyings, now you can see PMS as a scheme level information or as a line item.
This is something which I think a lot of people have requested, of course, and we've added it.
Yeah.
So our recommendation is that you do change the setting in your MProfit application, especially if you're managing multiple schemes and you want to differentiate the view of PMS investments in a group portfolio or an entity, and see PMS as a separate asset class, because you don't want the underlyings to be combined with the other asset classes that they are parts of. We highly recommend you enable this in both analytics as well as the classic app, so that you can just see your PMS investments as a standalone asset class. And yeah, it's a very simple change, and it doesn't change how you actually view an individual PMS portfolio, as Tanmay explained. But what it does is it changes how you see your PMSs compared against each other and compared against other investments within a single group or entity. So I think that is feature number 2 that we wanted to talk about on the input side of things, which will definitely benefit you while you either view your current side of reporting or decide to view the new Prime reports. We can definitely move on to feature number 3 now, which is customizable asset categorization, a feature called custom categories. This is a very new feature we've added this year in the past year in 2025, which is, I would say, one of our more popular recent features. What it allows you to do is it actually allows you to change the default asset categorizations, the default MProfit asset categorizations in your MProfit account as per your own preferences. The benefits of this is that if MProfit has categorized a specific investment for you, as for example, an arbitrage fund is categorized as equity, for whatever reason, and you want to override that because you are looking at an arbitrage fund differently, you can now override the asset categorization of an arbitrage fund in your MProfit account or any other asset for that matter, and set your own categorization and subcategorizations. It can be for stocks, it can be for mutual funds, it can be for AIFs or any other asset that you've imported into MProfit. So if you also are someone who invests in a lot of AIFs, and different AIFs are say Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3 in nature, and you want to actually categorize different AIF investments as Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, or there are certain other types of classifications. For example, certain AIFs are more equity heavy, or certain AIFs are more debt heavy, and you want to categorize them as equity or debt instead of categorizing them as other or alternates. MProfit now allows you to do that, and you can basically set your own categorization for the entire for your entire MProfit account for each and every single asset class or asset at a global level. And Tanmay, I think you can show this feature how powerful it can
Yeah,
be. And I think once we see it, you will actually get to see how to use it properly.
sure. So this setting or the custom categorization option is available under analytics module. So the option is under this settings button. You can click on custom categories. Now, there are two different options available to have your own categorization. So very first thing is, as Atik mentioned, MProfit of course follows certain categorization like equity, debt, retirement, gold plus, and so on. But you can completely overwrite this categorization with your own custom categories. Okay, and definitely once you do that, you can have performance by your custom categories. You can see it by your custom categorization. You can see holding details, asset allocation insights as per custom categorization as well. So this is the option from where you can actually set different categories. You can create your own category, subcategory, and you can do the tagging. So there are two different levels. One is you can tag the entire asset class to a specific category. So that's the tab by asset class. I can click on this stocks and ETFs, and this is the default categorization. So if you look at this category, certain cases like debt ETFs, MProfit is categorizing it as debt category, and subcategory is debt ETF. But for example, you want to treat it complete differently. Okay, you can simply click on this edit categorization button at the bottom, click on this drop down. You will see the list of all the default categories. But if you want to create your own category, simply click on new category option and create your new category. Similarly, you can select this subcategory drop down and click on new subcategory to create your own new subcategory as well. So like this, you can do on a asset class level. But let's say you don't want to do on an entire asset class level. You can also do this on an individual asset level. Every single investment you have, for example, a mutual fund, a stock, or a AIF scheme, or a PMS scheme, you can also do this tagging. So you can go to this buy asset option. Let's say select mutual fund, expand the mutual fund section. You will see how by default MProfit is categorizing. For example, SBI large cap fund regular plan is categorized as equity and equity funds. Again, you can click on edit categorization option and tag it to your own category. From here, again, you can create your own category, select it. Similarly, you can select a subcategory, or you can create a new subcategory and tag this asset to that particular category. This is one time tagging only, meaning that one time you tag this particular asset, next whatever new transactions are getting added into this particular asset will be automatically considered for this category. Okay, only if there is a new kind of a investment, a fresh investment, a new kind of a mutual fund scheme which you don't have in your portfolio, if that comes, then you have to simply go to this option again, come to this option view again, and simply do the categorization once. Okay, if you simply want to look at the overall view, which are different MProfit categories and which are the categories created by you, there is a category master option available here. There is a button available at the bottom. You can click on this category masters, and this will give you the list of all the categories and subcategories you have. So for example, any category which is to find out whether it's a system category, default category, or a custom category, you will find a label here. For example, cash is a MProfit default, meaning that it's a MProfit's default category. If you expand it, you might see a custom view as well, a custom category as well. Similarly, any other categories, like in my case, I have created alternates, which is my custom category, which I have created. So I can see which are the subcategories I have created. From here, you can also delete the category or subcategories, or you can simply rename it from here. Okay, so we have given the complete control on creating your own views. We understand that certain clients would like to see data in a certain way. For example, private equity investments, for example, NSE and National Stock Exchange, which is an unlisted asset, you might have created it under private equity, manage it under private equity asset class, which MProfit categorize it as a equity category. But let's say you want to treat it complete separately. You have to create your own custom category called alternates, and you want to tag it there. Now you can easily do that from this custom categorization feature. And once you create your own categories and subcategories, we are providing multiple different views. Of course, we'll talk about the prime reports which we have, where you will see the detailed view to understand the XIRR and benchmark comparison and a lot of other insights. But from the analytics view, we are also providing a portfolio view, which is similar to the classic view portfolio screen, which is this view I'm talking about. Here you can see the information by asset classes, which are MProfit default asset classes, right? But in analytics, once you have your own categorization, we have added the option to look at the overall portfolio by asset, which is again MProfit default asset classes. But we have also added now to look at the portfolio by category. So if you have your own categorization, you can actually look at the portfolio or a summary of all your investments as per your own custom categorization. And again, on the screen, as you see, everything is real time. So I can click on any specific equity, any specific category to look at the subcategory views. Again, I can click on any specific subcategory to look at the individual scheme details as well. For example, PMS scheme wise details. So now we have enabled this option on the analytics side where you can see portfolio summary screen by category. Okay. Or if you have custom categorization, by custom categories as well. Similarly, if you want to understand the overall insights, holding details, performance details, even that is possible. Meaning I can click on any custom category from here. I can click on, let's say, equity category just to understand my equity holdings. Okay. Similarly, I can again drill down into every single category, subcategory to get more details. Similarly, I can go to performance tab just to understand a specific category performance. Again, this option will have a subcategory view as well. If I click on if I go to performance by subcategory view, this will give me a subcategory wise details and how every single subcategory of this equity category is performing. Again, I can drill down into specific category to have more details. Meaning you can have your own custom categorization and you can see holding insights as well as performance insights as per your custom categories or as per your custom subcategories as well. And uh, this entire thing will, you can actually get it as a consolidated under our prime report, which we'll talk about. Yeah, I think you want to add anything on this?
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Tanmay. So basically, custom categories is a feature which, to recap, which allows you to override the default MProfit categorizations. If you don't use the feature, also MProfit sets its own categorizations and subcategorizations, as Tanmay has shown you. But this gives you, another dimension of customizable uh, ability for your own reporting in MProfit. And we highly recommend that you use it because we are sure that there will always be certain assets that you want to classify under certain unique categorizations and then get to see the views and the reporting accordingly. So we highly recommend that you use the custom categories feature and make the most of it. And we will also show you how this feature then ultimately ties into the actual reports that we will be covering in the report section. Before we move on to the report section, we'll just cover one last user-defined customization feature, and that is on the benchmark front. Now, under MProfit Prime, we've added the ability for you to see actual benchmark performance in your Prime reports. This benchmark performance is something which is only available in MProfit Prime, and the reason is that for every single benchmark comparison that is reported in MProfit's Prime reports, MProfit actually replicates the cash flows in the from the portfolio in the benchmark, and this actually means that every single cash flow is replicated in the benchmark of your choice for that particular portfolio or category, and that will actually give you an apples to apples view of how that portfolio or that particular category has performed relative to the benchmark of your choice. So this new feature that we've added is called benchmark settings at a global level. And what it does is for any portfolio, any category or any subcategory that you are managing in MProfit, you can set your own benchmark. The benchmark can either be a single index, or it can be a combination or a blend of different benchmark indices. Why is the blend feature useful? Because sometimes a portfolio is not just purely equity or purely debt, or it's not just purely large cap. It is a combination of large cap, mid cap, and small cap, or it's a permutation and combination of multiple different parameters for which the benchmark has to be uniquely set. So in MProfit we have over 80 plus benchmarks, out of which many of them are TI indices. Also, we have a few debt benchmarks as well, and then we have a range of other benchmarks that you can choose from. And you can now build your own custom benchmark using this global benchmark settings feature that allows you to then get your own type of benchmark for every single portfolio or category or subcategory that you have are managing in MProfit. And Tanmay, I think you can just show how this particular benchmark settings works, and then we can show how it actually reflects in the Prime reports.
Sure. So again, the option is available in analytics, and it's under settings option. You will see benchmark settings. As Atik also mentioned, you can set custom benchmarks on 3 different levels. One is a portfolio level, second is a category level, and third is a subcategory level. So for example, you can assign a equity specific index to equity category, debt specific index to debt category, or on an entire portfolio level. If the portfolio is consisting of certain equity, certain debt investments, you can create a blended benchmark and also uh, add a synthetic blended benchmark, assign a blended benchmark to that particular portfolio. So this is the option. As you see, there is a category wise option available as well as the portfolio wise option available. By default, of course, MProfit shows a default index, which is TRI Nifty 50. But if needed, you can change the by default benchmark as well from here. But otherwise, you can have multiple different indices. So on for a main category level, like alternates is a main category or cash is a main category, I can set a specific index from here. So again, I'll get an option. You get an option to select an individual index, or you can select a blend. You can create your customized blend and then select it. Similarly, for every single subcategory you create, you can also have a separate index. Again, single or blended benchmark, blended index. So this is one option available. Similarly, on a portfolio level or a group level, again, you can have a different indices. So these are the dummy family list I have. For example, if I go to Mehta family, you can see on an entire Mehta family level, a group level, I can have a separate index selected by clicking on this small icon. It will again open a window where I can select an individual index or a blended. Similarly, I can tag different indices on a entity level, group level, or even individual portfolio level. So first section is the groups, where we display entities and groups, and the second section is individual portfolios, where we display the portfolios. From here you can do a tagging, or you can assign different indices to individual portfolios as well. It's very simple option available, and it's one time setting only. Once you set it, you can straight away generate Prime reports, and this tagging will automatically reflect in the Prime report. We'll talk about the Prime report in a bit, but this is how the options are. You can easily select, or you can easily tag different custom indices on a category level, subcategory level, portfolio level, or even a group level or entity level as well. And on both the places, category or portfolio wise, let's say you don't want to tag all the different assets or all the different categories or all the different portfolios, you can choose a default benchmark here, which is a standard benchmark. So let's say you have overall 10 portfolios in your family. For 5 portfolios, you want to actually assign a specific index, a custom index. You can do that. Rest of the 5 portfolios, if you don't want to go and individually assign, you can simply select a default benchmark. So wherever you're not assigned anything, this default benchmark will be automatically used.
Yeah. So to summarize again, both of these features, custom categories and benchmark settings, are available to you in the Prime plan under the preferences menu on the top right in the analytics tab. So once you have set the custom categories and the user defined benchmarks of your choice, you will then be able to see how these reflect in the actual Prime reports that we will now be covering in detail. So that essentially summarizes the building blocks of the MProfit Prime reports. To summarize again, entity creation, viewing PMSs as a line item, as a separate asset class, custom categorization of your asset allocation, and fourthly, benchmark settings. These four things can, really make a difference to how your actual reporting is generated. And now we will quickly move over to the actual reports, which you are all really interested to see, so that you can see how these features actually tie in together. Um, yeah, so without further ado, let us move on to the Prime reports then, right?
Yeah.
As you can see, Tanmay has his screen open with the Prime reports. We have opened a group here because the in a group or an entity or at the family group level, there are multiple different Prime reports available that allow you to see consolidated insights for the entire group or family or entity. With all the different performance metrics for every single investment that is part of that particular group, segregated as per your own requirements. So we will start firstly with the advanced performance snapshot report. This report basically gives you one single comprehensive performance snapshot, either at the group level or at an individual portfolio level, with the key performance metrics broken down. So if it's at the group level, it'll be broken down into different portfolios that are part of that group. And then we can just show that report once.
Yeah. So this is how the report looks like, where it's a overall snapshot of line item wise information you will get. So you can see every single portfolio as a line item just to understand the returns and benchmark comparison in a single view. And this benchmark XRR, as we just showed you, you can have different indices selected or blended benchmark selected for every single portfolio. So that setting will basically reflect in this report, but this report will help you understand the portfolio level returns on a high level. Again, we have a detailed report available as well, which will show it to you after this, but this is just a snapshot of the entire family to understand which are the different portfolios, how much is the return every single portfolio is making. And in the same report, you will also get the benchmark comparison, of course, along with the other details such as closing valuation, total inflow, that is your total investment, total outflow, and the absolute gain. Here absolute gain is basically a overall total gain in value as well as in percentage. And all these reports are downloadable in PDF as well as Excel formats, also available on a view like this on mobile as well as the web app. This particular report, as I have opened the sample report, but let me quickly talk about the customization options also. The sample report is basically showing the portfolio wise details, but we just talk about the entity creation. This is the new feature we have added. So you can actually generate this report and select grouping as a entity wise instead of portfolio wise. So you will also get to know the entity wise details. I've already generated this report here, so I'll just quickly show it to you. This is how the entity wise view looks like. Here, instead of every single portfolio, you can see every single entity available under one family. So you can see the family level returns and then entity wise breakup. Neeraj Mehta, Ajay Mehta, these are different entities or PANs or members in the family. This will give you entity wise understanding how every single entity investment is performing, what is the return, benchmark comparison, and other insights. So this is a snapshot report we have. And of course, there are other customization options available as well. The main option is the performance, the period section, where not only all to date, but for any period of time, you can generate this report. If you just want to analyze specific period returns, maybe last financial year, okay, or any custom period, you can select. We have an option to select the custom period as well. So last 2 years, last 3 years, you can select from and to date, and this will give you a overall performance snapshot of entire family broken down by portfolio or by entity.
So I just wanted to say that here you can see how the entity feature actually plays in, because once you have created your entities, there were multiple different portfolios in this particular family, but we grouped all the different portfolios into different entities, and then we saw the advanced performance snapshot only at the entity level, which give you a clean, crisp understanding of how each entity has actually performed. So that entity will combine the individual direct portfolios, the PMS portfolios, and any other portfolios for that particular person. So Neeraj Mehta's, all of their portfolios combined together, you see his performance as a single line item here. And this gives you a clean view of your own investments across different family members rather than seeing multiple portfolios, which also you can do, of course. But if you want to keep it simple and neat and easy to understand, then the entity feature really is powerful to use when you actually view these advanced reports. So yeah, that is basically how the advanced performance snapshot works. We can then move on to the next report, which is a little more detailed version of the advanced performance snapshot, which is called the advanced performance review. Now, this report actually gives you detailed performance insights for an entire group or family, bifurcated into different categories and subcategories. And this is where the custom categories feature also comes into play, where if you have created your own categorization and subcategorization for different asset classes, you can actually see a breakdown of the different categories and subcategories. And within each category, subcategory, you can see which assets are actually part of each category. And you then get to see what the performance is of the entire group, of each category, of each subcategory, and every single asset within each category and subcategory. Not just that, you get to see all the key performance metrics, including the IRR and the benchmark IRR. And again, the benchmark IRR here for each category and subcategory will be based on whatever benchmark you have set. So all of the different customization options are actually playing in together here to give you a completely customizable report for yourself. And Tanmay, I think you can again, since you have
Yeah.
the report open, we can talk about the different customization options here also, which can allow someone to view this report in many different ways. And one last thing, you can definitely generate this report for any time period of your choice.
Yeah. So just to show you the customization option, now this single report, we have provided multiple customization options, and I'll say that you can actually generate 10 to 15 different variants of this reports by simply doing customization. So if I generate this report, you will get options to customize this report. Of course, the period option is available. Any specific period you can generate this report, financial year wise, calendar year wise, or specific month, specific quarter, or for any custom period. We have also given option to see the grouping. Okay, grouping by assets, by entities, and then there are two more options available: asset wise with portfolio split, where the asset name will come first, and below that you will see a portfolio details. Then portfolio wise with asset splits, where the portfolio name will come first and then the different assets. There are other customization options available. You can sort the columns by different details like closing valuation, XIRR, total gain percentage. You can sort it. You can decide the direction as well. If you simply want to generate a plain report just to understand the asset returns, you can also hide the benchmark returns. Okay, but if you want to get a benchmark comparison along with the asset returns, you can select this benchmark return as show. We have also given option whether you want to get the comparison on a asset level, meaning that by default, this report will be generated with a benchmark comparison for entity, category, and subcategory. But for every single asset, if you want to have a benchmark comparison, you can simply click on this show button, and you will see that uh, uh, for every single asset, there will be a benchmark calculation, will be a benchmark written, so that you can compare every single asset as well, whether it's a stock, mutual fund, PMS, AIF, or any other asset class. Recently, we have also added one very important option. This is again as per all the feedback we have received from different clients, that certain cases, uh, if the investments, if the asset holding is less than 12 months, you have bought the asset very recently, maybe just 4 months or 6 months ago. For that, it's not actually proper way to calculate the XIRR, right? Because XIRR will make sense if you are holding an asset for more than 1 year, at least more than 12 months. So we have given the option here to select the absolute gain for certain assets if there is a holding period less than 12 months. Okay, so by default, system will actually check that out of, let's say, 50 assets you have in your portfolio or in your group, out of that, let's say 5 assets are having less than 12 months holding. Automatically it will calculate the absolute gain for that, not XIRR. Otherwise XIRR will be slightly inflated. So this is one customization option we have added. Similarly, there are options available to have custom assets. For example, this report, you just want to see it for market linked asset, not for everything else. Maybe you have FDs, you have insurances, you have some other asset classes. You don't want to include that in this report. You can actually select a custom list as well from here, where you can just select market linked asset, maybe stocks, mutual fund, SIFs, AIFs, PMS. That's it. You can actually select specific custom asset classes as well. Similarly, we have an option to have custom categories as well. So if I scroll down, this will give me the list of custom categories. All the categories you have created, whether it's a default category or a custom category, you can select specific categories and then generate the report. So this report can be generated for specific asset classes as well as specific categories as well. Okay, and then there are other options available. If you don't want to see the every single asset class under the head, you can simply hide the assets and it will just give you the information as per category and subcategory. Similarly, if you don't want to see the exited assets, the assets which are fully sold, if you want to simply exclude that, you can click on no. Else, if you want to look at the overall returns including everything, including the sold assets as well, you can select the show exited option. And one more option we have added, which is a amount invested column, which is again a very specific feature we have. The column we have added based on the feedback we have received. This amount invested column is as per the FIFO method. So these are various customization options available. What I'll do, I'll quickly show you one Excel report. I have shown you this PDF report. This is how the PDF report looks like, where you see the overall family level return, category level return, subcategory level return, and then asset class, asset level return as well, along with the benchmark comparison. But this PDF output, the PDF view will, or the in-app view, has slightly less columns available. If you export this report in Excel format, there are multiple columns available. So just to show it to you, this is how the Excel output looks like, where you will see more details. So category, subcategory, asset classes, asset names, holding percentage, XIRR, benchmark XIRR, the benchmark name as well, whether you have selected a individual index or a blended benchmark, so the name will be displayed here. And along with this, there are multiple additional columns you will see in Excel, like closing valuation, closing quantity, average purchase price, total investment, total withdrawal, total gain, which is your absolute gain in value as well as in percentage, and the breakup of this total gain as realized gain, unrealized gain, and total income. Now, all this information, all these details are available on multiple levels in a single report. So you can see family level insights overall, category level, equity category, debt category, retirement category, for example. Also, subcategory level, like PMS is a subcategory here, and then again, individual asset class level information as well. Now, this report, again, as I mentioned, grouping can be done differently. This is basically a category level, or I would say asset wise grouping. But if you do a portfolio or an entity level grouping, this is how the report will look like, where inside a family, for example Mehta family, you can see all the different entities together. So first there'll be, let's say Neeraj Mehta is one entity, so his overall returns benchmark comparison. Below that you will see all his investments, equity, debt. Below that you will see subcategory and individual assets. Then there'll be a second entity, let's say Ajay Mehta, all his investments. Similarly, if I scroll down, there'll be another entity, third entity as well, like that. So this single report, you will get lot of different details. You don't need to generate two, three, four different reports. You will get to know the holding percentages, XIRR, benchmark comparison, the total investments, total withdrawals, total gain you are making, and the breakup of that as well as a realized or unrealized capital gain, an unrealized gain, and then the total income. Total income will basically consider your dividend income, interest income, rent income, any kind of income will be part of the total income. So this is a very comprehensive report we are providing, and with different customization options we have provided, as I showed you, you can of course generate almost 10 to 15 different variants of the reports, and this will really help you. If you have any specific view in mind, you can actually check different customization options and get the exact report required. Of course, sample report we have provided, it's a basic report with basic understanding, but with customization you can create different views the way you exactly want.
Thanks, Tanmay. So,
Yeah.
just to again recap, Tanmay has covered a lot of detail on the advanced performance review and showcased all the different customization options. As you can see, we have truly tried to make this report as customizable as possible in various different regards, so that you can generate it in the exact way that you want to by excluding or including whichever asset classes, categories, subcategories that you want, what time period you want to view it for, whether or not you want to view exited assets or not, and so on and so forth. If you ever need any help generating this report, if you're using the MProfit Prime plan or evaluating it and you want some help understanding this report in more detail, please feel free to email us at support@mprofit.in. We'll be happy to, give you a more individual perspective with regards to your own specific requirement. So that is something which we would be happy to do. But essentially, this report really gives you, if you are someone who wants to review their performance on a monthly basis, the entire MProfit family's investment performance on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, or however frequently you want to, and you want one single report uh, to evaluate performance across different investments, bifurcated across different categories. This is the one report which we highly recommend you using. We already have a lot of clients who are heavily using this report, liking it a lot, and truly using the customization options to the maximum potential to slice and dice data as per their requirements. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any specific queries about this report. We would be happy to answer your questions. So that covers the advanced performance snapshot and the advanced performance review. And right after that, we will move on straight to the multi-period returns report. Also, we have enabled the Q&A now. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask, and our colleagues will definitely be happy to answer your questions live while we are talking through the multi-period returns report. But we would definitely urge you to just understand in detail how these new reports also work, because a multi-period returns report is a very powerful new report we've added that gives you multi-period visibility of performance across different investments in a single view. So if you are, let's say, someone who has 10 or 15 different portfolios in MProfit, some of them are PMSs, some of them are direct portfolios, some of them are advisory strategies, and you want to see how all of these different portfolios and PMSs and strategies have performed over different time periods and against the benchmark index. So you can compare them against each other as well as compare them against benchmark indices. This is the go-to report which you can rely on, the multi-period returns report. Tanmay has already shared it on the screen. Tanmay, please feel free to explain it. Yeah.
So I'll quickly cover the multi-period returns customizations again. So I was explaining about the different time periods option we have. As you see on the screen, you can customize this report for different time periods. The time periods are not fixed. You can select month-wise split, quarter-wise split, financial year-wise, calendar year-wise split, and then custom period as well. If you select custom period option, you will get the entire list, and from here you can select individual options, whichever period returns you want to have. Similarly, if you select month-wise split, we are also giving option if you want to look at previous 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, financial year or calendar year. Okay. After selecting this, you will also get an option if you want to include the current month or not. And similar to advanced performance review option, we also have an option to select whether if you want to see absolute gain for less than 12 months holding, or if you want to see XIRR for the same. And similarly, there is an option to select a specific portfolio or a specific group as well. So you can select only groups, only entities, only portfolios, or completely custom list. So out of 20 portfolios you're maintaining, if you just want to select only 5 portfolios, you can individually select 5 different portfolios and then generate the report. Similarly, there is an option to select custom asset classes as well. Instead of getting entire portfolio level return with all the asset classes, let's say you want to just consider stocks as an asset class and a select individual portfolio, you can actually select stocks and then generate the report. So in that case, all the portfolio returns will be shown, but it will just consider the stocks as an asset class. It will automatically exclude all other asset classes. So these are the various customization options available for the multi-period returns report.
Thanks, Tanmay.
Yeah.
So again, on the multi-period returns report, just to summarize, it is a one-shot snapshot for you to be able to see returns for different portfolios, different strategies, different investments across different time periods. And once again, we have provided a lot of different customization options here. So you can select the time periods of your choice. You can select which portfolios you want to include for comparison purposes. And you can also set benchmarks under the benchmark settings to actually see which portfolios are compared against their own relevant benchmarks. So that covers the multi-period returns report, which is a basic performance snapshot of different portfolios across different time periods. Now we also have a detailed version of this multi-period returns report, which actually goes into a lot of more detail about different performance metrics such as total inflow, total outflow, opening valuation, closing valuation, uh, across all of these different time periods. So think of it as the multi-period returns report which we just covered, but with a lot more detail. And Tanmay will just show you how to use this report in the best possible way and how to maybe, also get to see certain month-on-month valuation updates via using this multi-period detailed report. Yeah.
Right. So this is how the report looks like, where previous report was just returns and benchmark comparison. But in this report, for every single line item, whether it's a portfolio, group, or entity, you get other details as well: opening valuation, closing valuation, total inflow, total outflow, and of course the returns and benchmark comparison. Now, this report also you can customize it for different time periods. Overall options are similar, which I showed you for um, a multi-period return report. But if I generate this specific report, you will get a similar kind of option. So periods, you can have month-wise split, again quarter-wise, financial year-wise, calendar year-wise. So if, let's say, if you want to see month-on-month valuation change, okay, you can actually generate this multi-period return detailed report, select time periods as month-wise split, okay, and you can decide how you want to see it. Well, if you just want to look at last 3 months, previous 3 months, previous 6 months, previous 12 months, you can of course select specific option and then generate this report. I've already generated this report, so just to show it to you, this is how the report will look like. Okay, this is financial year wise, but similarly month wise split can be seen. So this is showing all to date 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years for Ajay Mehta's entity. But you can see where opening valuation, closing valuation, total inflow, outflow, total gain in value, and the returns as well, portfolio return and benchmark return. And the last column basically shows whether it's a XIRR or the absolute gain. So this report again can be looked at to look at month on month valuation change. And for that, you have to simply select month wise split option. And if you want to look at entire previous financial year data, so you can select previous 12 months as an option. And this will give you month on month valuation change details. Again, if you want to look at only individual portfolio here, you can go to this returns of portfolio customization option and select individual entity or even individual portfolio. For example, I can select only Ajay Mehta's direct portfolio here. So this will give me details for Ajay Mehta's direct portfolio and month on month change, how the portfolio valuation and how the returns are on month basis. Yeah, you want to add anything here?
No, Tanmay, do you want to show that one report where we actually can see the month-on-month changes for a single portfolio?
I'll have to generate. Let me just generate one. I can select one and I can quickly show it to you.
Sure. So basically, what Tanmay is just going to do is he's going to show you one report where if you want to see month-on-month changes in a portfolio's performance over time, with all the different metrics such as total inflow, total outflow, the XIRR or the absolute gain compared against the benchmark index, and you want to see it on a month-wise split or a quarter-wise split basis for a single portfolio, you can definitely do that. So you can actually get to see the cash flow movement of a portfolio over time. And if that's actually the kind of report you are interested in looking at, then this multi-period detailed report is a very useful report you can use. So Tanmay, maybe we can explain the
Yeah.
customization options that someone can select also here while the report
Yeah.
is being generated.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, you can select the current group, which will include everything under the group you have selected. Whatever entities, whatever portfolios you have linked to that group will be covered overall. If you select overall family, you will get an option. Let me just refresh the page one so that the customization options I can show it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is an option group by portfolios and group by periods. If you select group by periods option, okay, the view will slightly change. Similarly, there is a label. You can select current group and that will include all the portfolios under that group. But if you select overall family, you will get an option to select a specific portfolio or a specific group, meaning that I can select only groups, only entities, only portfolios under family, or a custom list. In custom list, we are giving option to select specific portfolios or specific groups selectively. I can just select Ajay Mehta, Bina Mehta, Neeraj Mehta, only three entities here, or I can select only specific PMS portfolios and generate this report. On the period side, if you select time period default, by default we show all to date, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and 5 years view. But there are multiple options available, as I mentioned: month-wise split, quarter-wise split, financial year-wise split, calendar year-wise split, and custom. If you select month-wise, we are again giving option to select previous 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, financial year, calendar year. Similarly, if you select quarter-wise, we are again giving previous 4 quarters or entire financial year, calendar year. Again, financial year wise, if you want to get only 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, there are multiple options available. Same goes for calendar year wise also. And custom will basically display all different periods on the screen. From here you can actually select specific option, maybe 1 month absolute gain, one let's say 1 year, or financial year wise you can choose specific periods and then generate the report. Similarly, there is another option available to include or exclude certain asset classes. By default, if you want to have all asset classes included, you don't need to do the customization. But let's say you want to just consider market linked asset, maybe stocks, mutual fund, SIFs, AIF, PMS. You can actually select a custom list from here and select a specific asset classes only. Okay, so there are multiple different options available to customize the periods or to customize the asset classes as well. Let me just check if this report is generated. So I'll simply go to report log, and okay, the report is generated. So multi-period report, you can see it from the completed log. If I click on view report, this will show me the report. So this is how the month-wise split report looks like. This will really help you understand the valuation or the overall returns on a month-on-month basis. So you see the period-wise grouping we have selected. So it is showing Jan 25, Feb 25, March 25, like this till December overall, and it is giving you the details for single portfolio. I have selected only one portfolio as Ajay Mehta Direct, so it is just showing me information for one portfolio. But if needed, you can generate this report for entire group also. That is multiple portfolios available under single family. Then opening valuation, closing valuation, total inflow, total outflow, total gain, portfolio returns, benchmark returns, and the return type, whether it's absolute gain or a XIRR. So this is how the report looks like. And again, as we mentioned, all these reports are downloadable in PDF and Excel format. And Excel format, you will get an additional column. Some extra columns are provided in the Excel report.
Great. Thanks, Tanmay.
Yeah.
So I think we have, obviously, this has been a fairly technical session because of all the different nuanced features that we've added and the detailed reports that Tanmay has covered. If you have any questions and you would like to explore MProfit Prime in more detail, if you're finding value in it, then we would be happy to, have a demo for you if you're interested in exploring it. And if you're already an existing MProfit Prime customer, then by all means, you can reach out to your RM or you can reach out to support at MProfit.in, and we would be happy to see how we can ensure that you are making the maximum use of the features that we have just covered, or any other features in general. So, please feel free to reach out to us. If you have any questions on pricing for MProfit Prime, you can please reach out to us at connect@mprofit.in, connect@mprofit.in. Our sales team will be happy to get in touch to see, what your requirements are and whether or not MProfit Prime is valuable to you. Is it useful or not? Before we close out the session today, Tanmay, just one last feature we can talk about, which is batch reporting. That is one feature which is also available in MProfit Prime outside of the Prime reports. This is a feature many people have requested, especially around generation of capital gain reports, where
Yeah.
you want multiple capital gain reports across different portfolios generated at once. So we have added this feature. It's called batch reporting. What it simply does is that if you have multiple portfolios and let's say you're in tax filing season, you want to generate multiple capital gain reports together at one time. It's not going to be in a single report, but if you want multiple reports to be generated at the same time, so that you don't need to go into each portfolio and generate the capital gain ITR format report, for example, then you can simply use the batch reporting feature, as Tanmay has shown you on the current screen. He is currently in the batch report section. So Tanmay, maybe you can just show how to go into batch reports first. Sorry, I was...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So batch reports are available on entity or a group level. So you can select any entity or you can select a family group. And then simply click on report section. You will find a new option here called batch. So if you click on batch option, this will give you the list of all the reports again. Now let's say if you want to generate a capital gain report for all the portfolios you have in one family, so you can simply go to capital gains. Maybe you can select capital gains ITR format and just select the stocks option. If you generate this report will be technically generated for all the portfolios, and a single zip link will be provided. So if you click on this option, it will download a zip file, and inside zip file you will find separate reports generated for every single portfolio in Excel as well as PDF format. So it's basically a bulk report generation. You will not get a consolidated report. This will be separate reports only, but you will be easily you can easily download it on a bulk level.
Yeah. And this feature is extremely useful for family offices or wealth managers, who have to generate a single report multiple times across different portfolios within a single MProfit family for any specific client or family office. So we highly recommend that you use it if you are having access to this feature. It's called batch reports, and it allows you to generate the same report in bulk, in a single go. So we would be happy to again show you how to use this feature if you need a little more clarity. And that brings us to the end of the MProfit Prime features. So as you can see, we've added multiple different types of features, but collectively they all work together to give you a meaningfully better reporting across your MProfit data at a consolidated level, as well as at an individual asset or category or subcategory level, so that you can actually make better sense of all your investment data. Because let's face it, there is a lot of data that you've imported into MProfit across different asset classes, across different entities, across different portfolios. But essentially, what you really need is a way to synthesize all that information in a clean and crisp way, and as per your own requirements, with your own categorization of asset classes, with your own benchmarks, as per your own risk understanding and risk allocation. And that's essentially what MProfit Prime gives you. So, if you have any further questions, we'd be happy to, stay and answer them. But I think most of the questions have already been answered. We really, I want to thank everybody for being here today. We hope this was a useful session, and hoping to see you on a subsequent session. We are adding a lot more features over time. One big feature we are adding, which we'll be happy to announce, is a new simplified way for tagging advisors in MProfit, to various different assets or portfolios. That will easily make it very easy for you to see advisor level insight. So this is essentially useful for investors and family offices, where you will be able to now then see advisor-wise breakdowns of your investments in a very easy way. So please stay tuned for this feature. It's coming hopefully in the next couple of months, if not sooner, and we will definitely keep you posted. And thank you so much. I do see one feedback from Pandurangaji that the batch report feature is awesome. We really thank you for the feedback, and hope that more of you can use the feature and make the most of MProfit Prime and the new updates that we'll be adding in the coming months in general. I think that's about it. Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate your time here, and we look forward to seeing you on the next webinar in the coming weeks and months. Thank you.